All right, welcome to another episode of LogiCast. My name is BlankaKong. I'm joined by Gunner Eos, Huddle Wolf today. Today's topic is going to be, or this week's topic is going to be kind of a review and a discussion on a survey that Capcom did recently called the Capcom Super Elections, which is just a feeler to see what fans like, what they maybe dislike, what they want to see more of, what they want to see less of. It's just a general survey on like Capcom franchises, where they stand in Capcom characters, and it's just a way for Capcom to reach out to their community and just kind of see where they're at, so that I'm assuming to make better decisions as to what to make next. So we're gonna go over those results. The link will be in the description down below if you want to see it for yourself. You're gonna see it on screen though. You should be seeing my browser now, so we're gonna go through it. They only have a vote count of 250,000 votes, so this is a small sample size because this is a global survey. So this isn't like super hard evidence. Like this is a small sample size. 250,000 people is not a lot globally, but
Oh, okay. I thought this was Japan only. That would make more sense, but
this is
globally,
global.
yeah.
So like, had I known this survey existed, I would have participated in it. I just didn't know. So.
Me either.
So
I saw it after.
So
the
if it's
results
one
were
thing
done.
Capcom can take from just the first minute of this, discussion is maybe advertise it a little harder so that you could get better population turnout on your voting system.
Yeah.
Maybe people just don't like voting. I don't know, but that's a whole nother conversation. Anyway, 254,148 votes total. We have our gender ratio here: male at 82%, female 14%, other at 4%. Moving on.
Oh.
What's wrong?
No. Once again, showing what the dominant market for video games is and has always been.
I mean, I can argue that their male probably 10 or 20 years ago was like closer to like 90 something percent. So, like, there has been growth in the female gamer space, but for sure, males, dominate the video game user space. And to be fair, this is Capcom specifically, a real gaming publisher, gaming developer, not a mobile studio, nothing like that. So, like, the numbers aren't skewed with like mobile games or anything like that. We're talking real video games here, Capcom video games. So that take that if that offends anybody. Hey, sorry, this podcast probably isn't for you. But moving forward, so we got our generation ratio, tens, which is like little kids, 8%. People in their 20s at 39%, which is huge. People in their 30s, 38%.
Hey.
People in their 40s at 12%. We'll be there soon. 50s, 2%, and 60s and up, 1%.
Them old school grandpas still playing my son.
Hey, listen, man, I respect it. Here's the country breakdown. So, number one, I think, is United States at 71,000 participants at 28%. Japan is second at 21% with 52,000 participants. And then it's United Kingdom. Actually, no, it's Brazil. Whoa. Sit down, United Kingdom.
Huh.
Brazil is number three at 26,000 at 11%.
Big Capcom fans over in Brazil.
Dude, apparently, man. There's a lot of gamers in Brazil. And then United Kingdom,
especially for fighting.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. 4% with 10,000, and everything else is like 2 to 3%. So Germany, Spain, France, China, Canada, and Mexico.
Australia doesn't count. They don't exist.
So Dante wins number one character, and Devil May Cry wins number one title. So.
Of course. Why am I not surprised with this bullshit?
I'm not surprised, man. I think I just grown out of Devil May Cry personally.
Why am I not
Too
surprised?
fucking cool for your bullshit.
Yeah, I think I will always love DMC3. It's one of my favorite Devil May Cry games. But I played 5, and it's just like, I don't know, man. It's too much edge. I'm too old for this edge. Dante's too old for this edge. He's like in his 40s. Just relax, man. Go home. Be a family man.
I'm too cool for this shit.
Go like hang out with your mother clone girlfriend.
Nah, she's too old for me now. But this doesn't surprise me in the slightest. It's and I like Devil May Cry. I mean, Wolf knew me in high school. I was like a big Devil May Cry fan, but I was a Devil May Cry fan for the same reason that everybody's a Devil May Cry fan. He's so cool. He's a badass. So sick. The game is awesome, right? It just speaks to like the lowest common denominator of a gamer, right? It just does. And that's not a shot at anybody. I still like Devil May Cry. I played 5. I didn't finish it. I just couldn't get into it for some reason, or I got distracted with something else.
Same.
But I don't think they're bad games. I think they're just fun. They're just video games being video games. And they're just fun. And they have silly, outlandish characters. And the characters look cool, right? And I'm not homosexual, but I can admit that, yeah, Dante's a good-looking guy. And as we get through the surveys and you see some of the female votes, I don't think I'm wrong in assuming that. So, you know, hey, cool. Devil May Cry wins top title. So there's that.
Still keeping it
stylish. So, first question is a 10-question survey. So, which of the following Capcom games do you like the best? Devil May Cry wins number 1.
Wow.
Dino Crisis wins number 2, and Resident Evil 4 Remake wins number 3.
I was expecting Monster Hunter to be on one of those 3 lists, or one of those 3.
I think Monster Hunter's
I'm
in the top 10.
surprised that Dino Crisis is there.
So Monster Hunter squeaked
There
by
goes
number
World.
9. Monster Hunter World,
Number
and then
6.
Iceborne is at 6. And then Resident Evil, dominates. And Breath of Fire 3
Dominated the list.
Ooh, Breath of
making
Fire.
it to
There
the
you
list,
go.
which is, impressive. And then this is...
But Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter World Iceborne is the same.
Yeah, but in the entries,
yeah.
it counts as a separate game, so...
It is so stupid. It's like,
And then
okay, so the same game twice.
You technically could come into Iceborne without ever touching World and be
Yes,
okay.
you can.
Yeah.
It's weird, but... I mean, Resident Evil 4 is
Uh.
up here, and then Resident Evil 4 Remake is also up here. So...
That's what I was gonna say next. Because I was like, wait, hold on. It's like, okay, one says Resident Evil 4, and the other says Biohazard. You can't fool me. Same fucking game.
This guy looks a little... looks like the same guy. But,
I think the only actual original, unlike any other game I've ever played before, title that's on here is probably Okami.
True. True.
Everything else is just like I'm not surprised when it comes to the current Capcom crowd as of late. Breath of Fire does surprise me because I think this is the Breath of Fire 4 is the last Breath of Fire, which has been,
There was a 5, but
There
no one
was a
talks about
5.
that. Yeah, it was on
Okay.
PS2.
so the last Breath of Fire was on PS2, which is decades ago. So yeah, Okami Breath of Fire 3 is not is a surprise to me, but everything else is not a surprise to me. It really
Yeah, I'm not
is.
surprised the remakes are up there in any capacity.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter World, was a lot of people's introduction to Monster Hunter because this was the first Monster Hunter on like mainstream consoles and PC. Finally left like the DS handheld, Nintendo only
that,
sphere.
Would you agree with me when I say that Monster Hunter World was the Monster Hunter game that streamlined?
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no discussion about that. That is, I think, a factual statement. So if we scroll down, we got the world versus Japan as far as like who voted for what. It's a very different list. So the general public, the general world minus Japan, voted Devil May Cry 1. Or Devil May Cry is number 1. Devil May Cry 5 specifically. Dino Crisis, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Devil May Cry 3, Resident Evil 4 Original, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Iceborne, Monster Hunter, Okami, Resident Evil Code Veronica, and then Mega Man
Oh,
X.
Veronica, there's Code Veronica love out there. Oh,
I'm
shit.
surprised.
There's a significant amount of Code Veronica love
Yeah,
out there.
people keep every person that I hear about that's like knows and plays Resident Evil 9 times out of 10 dunks on Code Veronica. They're like, it's one of the worst ones. It's
It's
lame.
It's not a bad RE game. It's how I feel about Monster Hunter Rise. I feel about Code Veronica. Code Veronica is a fine Resident Evil game. It's just too long, and it just generally when stacked against other RE games, it pales in comparison. That's it. You know, but it's not a bad game in itself. If they did a remake, I'd buy it.
See, I like the Japanese list. I like the Japanese. They know games.
So we got
I'm sorry,
Okami at
but
number 1,
just
Phoenix Wright
exactly.
Ace Attorney at number 2, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations
Big
at number
Phoenix
3.
Wright fans over there.
Then Monster Hunter World Iceborne at 4, Street Fighter 6, another Ace Attorney game, Breath of Fire at 7, Mega Man Legends, which shocked me, at number 8, Monster Hunter Freedom Unite at number 9, and Monster Hunter World at number 10. It's a very, very different list.
Yeah, see? Yep, Monster Hunter World was the Monster Hunter made for the West. That's why it's up there on the world
On
list.
the world, right, on the world list. But look at what's on the Japanese list is Monster Hunter Freedom Unite.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
You know, which to me is a phenomenal Monster Hunter game. For what it was at the moment. Anyway.
Yeah,
So,
oh,
I mean,
yeah.
to anybody who's played Monster Hunter long enough, this is considered like peak old school Monster Hunter right here. Monster Hunter Freedom Unite.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead. Nah, we could go on. We could move on.
So this is the male to female breakdown.
God damn, Devil May Cry, go away.
Males, Devil May Cry dominated.
Oh my god.
Dino Crisis, RE4 remake, Devil May Cry 3, World Iceborne, RE4 original, RE2 remake, Okami, and Monster Hunter World, and Breath of Fire 3. Ladies, they like Okami number 1, Devil May Cry not far behind, and number 2, Phoenix Wright, Torare,
Yep.
no Paruma. I don't know what that is, but it's a game, and the girls like it. Phoenix Wright, Devil May Cry 3, RE4, Phoenix Wright, Code Veronica. I think the ladies really like Code Veronica. I think they probably
Claire. That Claire
I'm
energy.
thinking that Code Veronica made it to the top 10 on the world list because of women.
yeah, 100%, 100%, 100%. Code Veronica was one of the first RE game to feature a female antagonist as the main enemy.
Yes, yeah.
Who the hell was that?
Veronica.
Oh, Veronica was the person's name.
Yeah, but she was also the daughter of like the scientist who made the new virus or whatever.
Yeah, like the Ashford
The Ashford-
family, one of the
yeah.
founders of Umbrella.
Yeah.
Ah.
So
She became a female tyrant or
hey,
tyrant
and we had
creature.
a cross-dressing representation. The brother would dress up as his sister
Oh, yes.
in the game. This just saying.
Okay,
Very
This
moving
is
on.
1999.
Very
Just saying, it was
progressive.
pretty progressive. All right, moving on by generation. So people
Yeah, okay. This Devil May Cry makes a lot more sense.
from 10 to
Fucking
29,
Zoomers, yo.
people they love their DMC. DMC 3 is right behind it. RE4 remake right behind it. RE4
All the action
right
Resident
behind it.
Evils. Oh my god.
Then it's Monster Hunter World. Then they get a little culture with Okami. Then Dino Crisis. Then right back to RE2, and then Phoenix Wright, and then Monster
That
Hunter.
list is so brain dead. It's so brain dead.
I wouldn't say brain
I'm
dead,
sorry.
but it's it has a consistency.
It's very action based. It's
It has
very
a
action
consistency.
based.
30 to 49.
Yeah.
Dino Crisis, Okami, Breath of Fire, RE4, RE2, Iceborne, Mega Man X, which pleasant surprise, DMC5, RE4, and then 50. Actually, it would be 50 to 60s, I guess. Dino Crisis. So Dino Crisis is getting a lot of love. People really want this to come back. Okami, Phoenix Wright, Resident Evil, Code Veronica. So maybe there's like a lot of older females who voted, right? Code Veronica isn't a part of any other list here, so
Well, here's the thing. I think I'm not so mad about Resident Evil being all over these lists as I am mad about Devil May Cry.
why is that?
For me, it's on a gameplay standpoint, but this is besides the point of what I'm about to.
Okay.
If you look at the 30s to 40s, there's this one specific game that stands out to me, and it's Mega Man X.
Mhm.
We all here grew up on some type of Mega Man game,
Yeah.
with X being my favorite of all the series,
Mhm.
right? And we're all in that particular age group. So if we each took that list there is almost, with the exception of maybe Gunner, there's a 66% chance that 2 out of the 3 lists from each of us will have Mega Man X on
Oh,
that
100%.
top
Yeah,
10.
yeah, 100%.
Because there's no way I can complete a Capcom list and not include Mega Man X. I just cannot do it, right? And we fit that age group, so I get it. Now, with the 50s and 60, the 50 to 60-year-olds, I understand the Resident Evil across the board because Resident Evil is a type. It's one of those video games that's like, if you're a gamer, you had to play it at least once. I'm not a Resident Evil fan, and I've played 2 Resident Evil games. So even me have Resident Evil under my. But at the end of the day, I that's where I understand Resident Evil. From a gameplay aspect, Resident Evil is the kind of game where anybody of any age can enjoy it because, one, there is a thought process behind it. So if you're a more mature gamer, you're thinking through the game. Resident Evil isn't those kind of games, other than 5, which you notice is not here. It's not the kind of game where you can just bust the door down and start blazing up zombies.
No, there's strategy for sure.
There is definitely strategy, right? So, like, if you're an older gamer and you need something slow paced, you can still play Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 is slow enough for someone who's older to play, but intense enough for someone who's younger to be enjoyed by it. And
That's
I think
Resident
Evil is that kind of franchise that's like, it fits so well in the gaming culture that anybody of any age can play it. Now, with Devil May Cry, I'm annoyed, but I get it because they're younger. It's much like what Gunnar said before. It's like we outgrew that kind of game.
Yeah.
Like the cockiness of the character, the one button pressing, the lack of thought process behind it, everything being thrown at you, feeling like a god through the whole game is like, it's like blah. At some point, you start to realize that this cake is not flavorable in any way, shape, or form, right? And I get it, because when you're 10 to 20 years old, especially in today's day and age, your time is valuable, right? You don't want to sit there and play a 20-hour, 30-hour game. You'd rather sit and invest your time into a 7-hour game.
Oh, yeah. You think any of these kids are playing OG Resident Evil? Hell no. They won't make it out like the first room. Like, game is trash, controls are trash, graphics are trash. Nah, they're not playing that.
Trash.
Yeah.
What the fuck is a red zombie? Why they have to be a red zombie?
I want to do a 20-hit combo with fucking Virgil, tag into fucking Nero, and be like, I'm motivated. It's like, get out of here. Like, come on.
So I get it. Like, the list is making sense in terms of the age group. Look, in 30s and 40s, Resident Evil 2, right there, number 6. And I get why Resident Evil 2 will be there, because that is our era of gaming.
Yeah, exactly. For a lot of guys our age, Resident Evil 2 was the Resident Evil that got us liking Resident Evil. Because I never played 1. My first game was 2, and then I went back to 1 when the remake came out on GameCube. So yeah,
in the 50, 60 section, there's Resident Evil 1.
Right.
You know, so the list is making sense to me, but I don't know. It irks me to see that Devil May Cry is so dominant. It's just like, I can't with those games. Like, it's the reason why I know you guys enjoy Stellar Blade, but one of the reasons why that I don't really, I never really jumped into buying it right away is because it's like the whole straight up action stuff is not as enjoyable to me anymore.
Well,
like,
it's more shallow gameplay. It's just very, what you see is what you get.
Yeah. Okay. I digress. We could move.
Oh, did I just wrap up your point for you? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. All right, well, we'll move on to question 2. There's like comments and stuff. If we have time, we'll go through it. But so actually, top 10. This is the top 10 for the world. Top 10 for Japan. So Monster Hunter dominates Japan. Resident Evil dominates the world. Mega Man second place and for both sections, which is very, very good to see.
Nice.
I'm very happy about that. Devil May Cry number 3, go figure. Ace Attorney is Japanese people love fucking Ace Attorney.
Yo, man, Ace Attorney is good. It's a fun game.
Ace Attorney is a hella fun game.
I never played it. I can't, I've seen it being played.
Hella fun.
I never gave it a chance. So, but it's a Capcom game, so I don't doubt that it's good. So I never questioned it. For the world, Monster Hunter is at number 4, Dino Crisis, then Ace Attorney at number 6, Street Fighter number 7, which is a little surprising, Breath of Fire at number 8, which is very surprising, versus Capcom series, so this is like Marvel vs. Capcom, Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, etc. Okami at number 10 for Japan, number 4 is Resident Evil, 5 is Street Fighter, 6 is Breath of Fire, 7 is Sengoku Basura.
Yeah, that's their version. That's Capcom's version or answer to Dynasty Warriors. It's that kind
I
of
feel like
game.
I've seen it once. Don't know anything about these games, so obviously I'm not in Japan. So I probably
you've seen Dynasty Warriors, right?
Yeah.
So if you've seen Dynasty Warriors,
seen
then
this.
you know it's the same
Gotcha.
game.
Yeah.
Okami at number 8, Devil May Cry at number 9, and then Versus Series at number 10 for Japan. So, question number 2: Who is your favorite Capcom character? I'm glad to see X at 3, but number 1 is Jackpot Dante, and number 2 is
I like my pretty boys over here.
and just Mega Man trying his best.
Oh,
Wow.
So number 4 is Virgil, number 5 is Zero, 6 is Jill,
Yeah, of course. Dante, but not Dante.
7 is Mega Man, 8 is Phoenix Wright, 9 is Regina from Dino Crisis, and 10 is Amaterasu from Okami. So, let's look at the breakdown. Dante dominating both regions. Leon Kennedy, not far back. There's X at number 3, Phoenix Wright number 2. Ryu's in both lists. Hey! We got some
fucking LAN. Some battle
Battle
It's
Network.
random as fuck.
the Feline making it in the top 10 for Capcom Japan.
Hey, in Japan only, there are games where you play as only the feline. So I get it. I understand
they
it.
love their cats. I like cats too. Mega Man and Zero consistent in both. Miles Edgeworth up there.
It's Phoenix Wright's rival.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you. Male to female breakdown. Dante and Leon are just trading the number 1 and number 2 spots.
Places.
Man, Dante and Leon are liked for very different reasons in these categories.
True.
One's a cool factor and one's a thirst factor. It's just like
So for the guys, it's Dante, Leon, X, Zero, Jill, Virgil, Mega Man, Phoenix Wright, Regina, Ryu. For the ladies, it's Leon, Dante, Miles, Amaterasu, Virgil, Phoenix Wright, Jill, Shiki,
Yeah.
and Haruto.
Chiaki
Sure. And Claire Redfield.
and Haruto.
Sure. Yeah. Naruto. Yeah. Believe it.
oh wow, okay.
Uh,
They're getting some loving from the women.
yeah.
okay.
So okay.
Oh, what? It's because Jill is presented as a badass female. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah, oh, you're right. Yeah,
That
she
is
jumps
it.
out of flaming windows and like. fucking-
Listen, let me tell you this. Jill on the men list is liked for a very different reason why Jill is on the female.
Yep.
Okay?
You're,
Very
listen.
different reason.
there's a reason why these two guys down here aren't over here. Just saying. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. All right.
You notice Virgil didn't make it on the male list. I'm just saying.
No, Virgil's there.
Virgil did not make.
He's there. He's number
Yeah,
six.
he's number 6.
Oh,
This
he's
is
number
cool.
6. Okay.
He's cool. What do you?
Yeah, right, he
Come
is
on.
cool.
This is like
Right.
okay. So this is like cool factor, thirst. Post nut clarity, cool. Yeah, I remember the blue guy. Yeah. Cool. All right,
Yeah.
thirst. Oh yeah, Ryu's cool.
He's
Oh,
the
you
first
can.
player character. I always.
Oh, you can instead of sure you can. And then this is a breakdown by age.
God, people, please! Holy shit, there are other characters.
See, the older guys, the
So many
boomers,
characters.
they're a little more cultured, right? Chun-Li, first female fighting game character. She's got to be up there. You know,
It's what they grew up on.
But we're pretty, from 10 all the way to 49. Dante and Leon are just dominant. Very interesting.
Oh, Nero kind of squeaks in at number 10.
Because he's so cool.
My God. I completely forgot this thing exists. They put, I'm not, 10 to 20 year olds. Nero will be up there. Sure.
He's so cool.
Oh God, he's the same voice actor of Ichigo. He's the best.
Sure. Honestly, I have a lot of respect for the 50, 60 year olds on that list.
So you're a boomer.
Oh my
You're a
God.
boomer.
Just stop the podcast already. The fuck? Like, top 10 most... Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
So we'll go through this one real quick. Top female character. So this is just for the ladies. World is Jill, Regina, Claire, Chun-Li, Ada Wong, Cammy, Juri, Maya Fey, Sakura from Street Fighter, Rebecca Chambers. And then for Japan, it's Chun-Li, Jill, Maya, Ada Wong, Cammy, Nina from Breath of Fire 2.
Oh, Nina.
Sakura, Akira. She's Rival Schools, right? I think she's Rival
Akira
Schools.
is that fighting game that
Project Justice
that
or
came
Rival
out.
Schools, one of those two.
No.
No?
What was the game that came out? The fighting game that came out recently with like the skull dude, and it was like free when it came out. It's actually been remade recently.
With Skullmania? You talking about that
Yeah.
character?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know the
he's in
name.
the
I didn't
game.
even... Oh.
Hold on, I'll research that real quick. Don't go. Hold on.
Alright.
But I don't think she's Rival School. She's other franchise.
I don't know.
Kazama is the last name,
Kazama,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Sonya Strum.
Oh no, nope. It is right. It is Rival Schools.
Rival Schools. Okay, I
Oh.
thought I saw her in Rival Schools. Okay, so
She just made it into that fighting game.
okay. And while you see that you're looking stuff up, who's Sonya Strum? I'm assuming she's
Sonya.
yeah.
Sonya.
Sonya, yeah.
Yeah. Sonia. She doesn't look like a Phoenix.
I
Wright
was thinking
character.
Phoenix Wright, but the art style is different.
Yeah.
No, Sonya Strum is Mega Man.
Which Mega Man?
She's from Mega Man Star Force.
Oh, okay, that's why I don't know who the fuck that is.
Oh.
All right, cool.
That's the thing after Battle Network. Yeah.
She's
okay.
she's the controller of she's the new role.
Oh, okay,
Ah.
okay, cool. All right, well, Roll didn't make it. That's surprising, but all right. Moving on. Okay, this is a very good one. What do you look for in Capcom games? This is why I wanted to do this entire episode in the first place. So number one is exhilarating gameplay. I'm going to repeat that again for any devs who might be watching. Exhilarating gameplay is number one. Okay?
Strong number
Number
one.
two is unique and attractive characters. And number three,
Really? That's number 2.
hey, listen, the numbers do not lie. Number three is unpredictable and exciting storyline. Number 4 is memorable and moving BMG, so the music. 5 is depth and for repeats play. 6 is high difficulty levels to feel accomplished and superior. 7 is novel worldview. 8 is superb graphics, just in case they missed it. 8 out of 10 is superb graphics, so graphics is just maybe not that important. And number 9, play with players worldwide. And number 10 is first time experience a new game. So what this list tells me is that we want gameplay, we want cool characters who look good, we want a good story, good music, depth, difficulty, right? Difficulty is when we start to get to the second half, right, of this list. So difficulty is important, but like not a priority. Novel worldview, and then at the tail end is graphics, multiplayer, and new games. So we want older games because older games are better. We want the games to play well, and we want the characters to look cool, and we want the stories to make sense.
And we want them to be predominantly single player.
Yep. So just saying, you know, the numbers don't lie. And this is interesting. So the world, it's pretty consistent with what we went through. But Japan is a little different with unique and attractive characters being at number 1.
Ah.
Surprise.
And then exhilarating gameplay number 2, and then death for repeat play is at number 3. So that some of these are kind of moved around for Japan. So their expectations are a little different than ours, which is interesting. Question number 4. What image do you have of Capcom? Creative spirit, strong originality, amazing creator, treasury. Playful, full of playfulness, out of the ordinary, full of pioneering spirit, competing in the world. Actually, it's an HQ located in Osaka. This is true. Insistent is extraordinary, and no specific image to have. Don't really know. But creative spirit, I think I agree with that.
Like an image doesn't come to their mind when they
Well,
imagine.
Yeah, no comment.
Right. I will admit, Capcom has some real unique creative games. Characters, even down to their characters, is just like very different. They stand out.
Oh, 100%. Their games are not.
Yeah.
Okami and Devil May Cry, like you would never think that they're, but hey, same team or same publisher. Yeah, and this is the breakdown between the world and Japan. So yeah, some differences here and there, but I think this is just a perspective thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Question 5. Are there any Capcom game series, including spin-off games, that you would like to see get a sequel or a new game? Number 1 is Dino Crisis. People want these fucking dinosaurs back, and I'm one of them. I would love to play a new Dino Crisis game, because I did play the first one for the first time a few years ago, and I did stream it. And I was very surprised with how good this game was, and how ahead of its time it was. I had a really good time playing this game. Number 2 is Mega Man or Rock Band, and number 3 is Devil May Cry. Those
number 3 people just boot up 5 again. Go away.
They want another one. They want to be stylish again, man. We need Devil May Cry 6.
Well, that would be what? 6, okay.
6, yeah.
God.
Resident Evil number 4, Darkstalkers at number 5, which is surprising.
Okay.
Pausing.
His whole list didn't mention one Darkstalker characters, even on the most popular female list.
True, no Morgana,
None of them
Felicia, yeah.
Right. None of them bitches made it. But you mean to tell me that people want more Darkstalkers? That doesn't make any sense. Like, where's the consistency, people?
Listen, these 3 here have been very consistent. Mega Man, Dino Crisis, Devil May Cry, and RE have been very consistent. You are correct in pointing that out.
All right, cool.
Versus series, I think all of us would love to see another Versus game. Okami, I can agree with that. I think there's only 2 Okami games technically, right? There's the one on DS and then the original Wii PS2 one.
And the original one, yeah.
Ace Attorney, sure. I mean, there's a fucking demand for it, so.
I'm down for more Ace Attorney.
Onimusha.
Right.
This was a little random.
Random as fuck.
This was random, but I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah.
Breath of Fire.
Ooh.
I mean, it made the top 10, and I know Zeta would want that. So.
I just want to point out real quick, Capcom experimented with 2 of these games. A good couple years ago, they released a remix. I think it's in Vampire Savior. That's the Japanese version, Darkstalkers.
Yes, the Darkstalkers is called Vampire Savior. Yeah.
Yeah, they released like a HD updated version of the game. It didn't sell well, so Capcom was like, I guess you don't want Darkstalkers. They did the same thing with Onimusha. They remaked, or not remade, but they like a
remaster or like a
remaster. There you go. They did a remaster of the first one, and we're like, oh, not enough people bought Onimusha. Okay, I guess you don't want one. It's like clearly they do.
That's the thing. I think the problem with both of those remakes is that they were the same game, just formatted to play on a current console.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Darkstalkers,
yeah.
Right? Darkstalkers had its issues as a fighting game overall. It's a great fighting game, but it had its issues because it's an early fighting game. Onimusha, the original Onimusha game, had horrible controls.
Yeah, it played like a Resident Evil game because that was just the network, the framework that they used it. And this was before analog stick, so you had to move the character with the D-pad.
So it's like they expected current gen players to accept archaic gameplay. It's not so easy. Like if you gave me a choice between Darkstalkers, Street Fighter 6, I may be a huge fan of, I don't know, let's just use Morrigan for example because she's the main character. At least I think she's the main character.
Yeah, she's the
I'm
face
gonna
anyway.
always choose Street Fighter 6 because in the end of the day, Street Fighter 6, because it's a more current game, it's more fluid. I have less issues with it. Whereas like Darkstalkers has issues because it's an older game, especially older fighting games. They're off on a lot of things. And then there is also Onimusha. If you give me the choice between Onimusha and I can't really think of a current act. Well, let's use Devil May Cry.
The winner of this whole damn survey,
right.
yeah.
And you gave me a choice of Devil May Cry 5. I'm gonna pick Devil May Cry 5 because of the fluidity of the game overall. Like I'm just gonna have an easier time playing Devil May Cry. So I think what they should have done, which does cost money, but if they had they had rebooted the game, like built Onimusha from the ground up again to fit what current gen expectation is, it may have done better, especially Onimusha, because you have so many different types of games that Onimusha can adapt from. Plus its own original playstyle and mechanics and all that stuff.
Yeah. No, you're probably right. Yeah.
I think that's what really suffered that. So I don't think it was very. Me personally, I'm not a businessman in that regard to understand what the world would want, but me personally feel like remaking Darkstalkers when Street Fighter 6, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Marvel vs. Capcom, anything else, any other fighting game exists now. Like, why the hell would I play Darkstalkers? Like, why would I spend $20 to play Darkstalkers? Yeah, you get what I'm saying? It's like
I mean, the thing is with fighting games require a lot of dedication, to really get the most out of them, and so this is a genre of game that saturation is a death sentence, to all of the games in that genre. We saw that in the 2010s, where right after Street Fighter 4's success, we had way too many fighting games coming out back to back. And so there was a lot of fighting games that just didn't succeed because it's like, well, I can't be asked to fucking play Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, Street Fighter 4's Champion Edition or whatever, Tekken 6, Soul Calibur 5. Like, there's too many fighting games, and then you want to remaster King of Fighters 12 at the time. Then you want to relaunch Marvel vs. Capcom Origins. And it's like too much. Like all these games are very unique. And then Street Fighter 3 Strike also got like a relaunch at the time too. Like it was just too much stock in fighting games. And so with fighting games, there has to be a bit of a drought, and there has to be space in between major releases, especially from one company, specifically Capcom, in order for those games to breathe and flourish. And I think they understand that now. So I agree with you with the Darkstalker stuff. Onimusha is a little unique because I think Onimusha, there is a space, there is a lacking of like action games like this. There isn't too many now, which is why Stellar Blade did so well, is because there's not a lot of games like that anymore, at least modernly. But them remaking Onimusha would have cost a lot more money, and I don't know if the money that they would have made with that hypothetical release would have been enough to justify doing that versus just porting the original PS2 one. Like, I don't know the discrepancy there, but I
don't disagree with. Go on,
no, I was going to say I don't think it's enough to where it would have been. It would have been better, but I think they would have lost either way. I think there's just not an interest in Onimusha, like this survey is depicting. I don't know if that interest is measurable to success for them. If that makes sense.
That's understandable, right? No, that's completely understandable, and that's where I stand in the middle with Onimusha. But I just felt like coming out or remastering Onimusha, knowing that it's a very archaic game, didn't really do. analysis, but you do have an absolutely good point. What if they did spend the thousands of dollars to rebuild it, and maybe the characters or the storyline or whatever it is about the video game just doesn't latch to the public? That's a waste of money too. So I get both ends of the spectrum. I think about, as a consumer, I think about it on a consumer level more so.
Mhm.
And as a consumer, I wouldn't pick Onimusha over, I don't know, fucking, what's that game? Sekiro.
Well, you bring up a good point, and I was about to mention that. I'm glad you mentioned Sekiro. There is a substantial saturation right now with Japanese samurai-like games. So we got Sekiro, we have Nioh 1 and 2, we have Ghost of Tsushima, we now have Assassin's Creed Shadows. That's a thing. We have Phantom Zero or Phantom Blade.
Unfortunately, yes.
Phantom Blade is coming out, I think, either next year or the year after. There's a lot.
Rise of Ronin.
Rise of Ronin just came out a few months ago. Like, there's a lot of games that like occupy that space, and so I don't think there's a clear. Even though I just said there's a lack of action games, but when I say that, I mean like simplistic action games, like Onimusha, like Devil May Cry, like Stellar Blade. Those games are a little more complicated or just a little different. But Onimusha, theme-wise, overlaps with all those games I mentioned just a second ago, and so it'll get lost in the sauce. And I think Onimusha is just a series that they should just let breathe for a while. And if they do a Onimusha game, it should be a new Onimusha game. It should be Onimusha, fucking, I don't know, the Return of the Shadows or something, and it should just be a new game.
Definitely. I do feel like if they do Onimusha, like, I feel like Onimusha, yes, I didn't even know all those samurai games was coming out, like you said.
Yeah,
Of course, I knew
samurais
Ghost
are
of
like the
Tsushima,
new zombies
Oh, yeah.
when Walking Dead was
100%.
popular. Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima, I already know. Ghost of Tsushima is probably my favorite samurai-themed video game ever. Because we knew about the other ones like Nioh and Sekiro and stuff like that. Where Onimusha would stand out is what I noticed. I don't know about the newer ones that's set to release. I know for sure because I played Sekiro. I tried Sekiro. I tried Nioh, and I beat Ghost of Tsushima myself.
Okay.
Is Onimusha has this. There's this one mechanic that I wouldn't let go. It's the demonic transformation mechanic, because I definitely, and how difficult Onimusha was when I tried it when I was younger, I definitely see where Onimusha can live in that same space or of difficulty or train of thought as Nioh and Sekiro. But what will stand out is the demonic transformation to give
I
you
get what
that
you're saying.
sense of, it gives you that sense of peace and godhood momentarily to get yourself out of bad situations.
Which is really just Devil
Whereas-
Trigger from Devil May Cry.
Yeah, it really is just Devil Trigger. That's beating it down to the to the bare bones. But honestly, I'd rather see how you would use the Devil Trigger for Onimusha, let's call it that, in a space where you're not dominant 100%. Like, Devil Trigger to me in the Devil May Cry games isn't anything special because you're already so special. So when you're in a game, like for instance, if Sekiro had a Devil Trigger type mechanic to it, you would get yourself out of situations a lot more instead of constantly rolling or having to run away or having to reposition yourself.
Mhm.
It's like that part of the game where it's like, yes, this bar filled up, I can go crazy
It's a comeback
momentarily
mechanic.
and save myself. Like a comeback mechanic, like the X Factor for Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So I feel like Onimusha has so much potential in today's gaming market that it can go either way. It can go the way where it's brain dead and it's one button and yay action, or it can go like a Sekiro, Nioh, Ghost of Tsushima style where you just can't just run in like that. You gotta think your way through, and you do have ways of, the Devil Trigger mechanic will get you out of tight spots, but it's not meant to be abusable. It's meant to be used in a more strategic way. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like
Yeah.
I have so much hope for Onimusha as a franchise that I don't want Capcom to give up on it. But who's to say?
I think this game needs space to breathe, and they have to time the release of this game. They have to be real careful not to release it alongside or too close to another game that occupies the same space from a theming standpoint or even a gameplay standpoint. So
Oh
Unamusha is
yeah,
just
well if that's the
it's a
case,
tricky game to release in the current market.
to, to release Onimusha where it's gonna be hit with heavy competition because of how long it's been since the franchise. Might as well just put it to your head. Like you just like you're just shooting yourself in the foot at that point. Yeah, they got to be strategic about
Yeah.
it. I agree with you on that. I just feel like on this list, next to Dino Crisis, Onimusha has a lot of potential to come back. I just feel so.
Well, I think Dino Crisis is a safer bet to be.
Yeah. Obviously, this list proves
Yeah.
so.
So let's
But
Yeah, if you see a Dino Crisis announcement in the coming years, yeah,
yeah we could point
You
back
know
to
why.
this survey. All right, so that's our Unamusha segment of the podcast. Let's move on. What was even the? Okay, yeah, the sequel games that we want to see more of. And then this is the breakdown for World versus Japan. Japan, it's Ace Attorney at the top. Monster Hunter at number 2, Mega Man at number 3, Okami, then Darkstalkers, Breath of Fire RE, Sengoku versus, and then Devil May Cry at the bottom. Such a interesting, comparison.
let's look
Yeah,
at Ace Attorney on the world side. It's like
Yeah, like Ace Attorney is
if you look,
is Devil May Cry
All the-
reverse. Like that's so interesting. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
all the games that take a little bit more brain cells are at the bottom. That looks so
turn
bad.
taking RPG. Get that shit out of my face.
Where my guns, boy? It's true. Mega Man's pretty consistent though. Hey,
Yeah, he is.
Mega Man is like
Hey, jump shoot, man.
I could do it. So, and then this is the female male breakdown. The girls like Ace Attorney. Ace.
All right, so we're gonna see an Ace Attorney like 5, 6 come out soon. Gotcha.
I ain't complaining.
Yeah, I'm not.
I gotta try those games at some point. I gotta really get into it. I hear good things about it. I just never gave it a chance. Yeah, Unamusha. The boys want Unamusha because the girls could care less, right? This is very interesting to me. So males have voted for the games you see here: Dino Crisis, Mega Man, Devil May Cry, right? Resident Evil, Unamusha. Okay, makes sense, right? And Ace Attorney at the bottom. The girls have voted for Ace Attorney, Okami, Devil May Cry. Makes sense. Resident Evil, Monster Hunter is up here for the girls, but not for the guys. That's very interesting to me. I didn't expect that personally.
What could, man? I'm trying to think. Like, what could the fairer sex like in Monster Hunter? It has to be the. It has to
I'm
be the.
thinking it's the
customization.
cats. I'm thinking it's the charm of Monster Hunter. I'm thinking it's the fact that the game doesn't discriminate. You could be a male hunter or a female hunter and do the same things. So you can have a strong female character on screen. There's strong female representation in Monster Hunter. There's always like
Because I could definitely see that.
so
Like Ace Attorney is the successful lawyer guy. Okami is the cute puppy.
Mhm.
Devil May Cry
it's the
is
hot bad boy. Yep.
Resident Evil is the cute, spooky jump scare for more views on Twitch.
Yeah, the girls like the scary games. True.
And Monster Hunter is probably the felines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
This is by generation. So again, pretty consistent. Like the boomers.
Get out of here, Grandpa! You ain't getting no Darkstalkers. Get out of here. You'll be dead before long. Don't worry about it.
This is interesting. Look at where Ace Attorney falls. For these guys, for the younger guys,
That's
Ace
pretty
Attorney's at the
surprising.
bottom for our group, and it's actually below.
That's weird because Ace Attorney's a lot of reading, and if I know anything about Gen Z, they're not good at that.
Hey man, they got the skip button in the upper right corner.
There you go. If I match enough buttons, I'll win the case.
I don't know. We in the wrong age group here? Because, like, 30s to 49, there's no Monster Hunter up here at all. And then for the younger people, it's Monster Hunter series, which makes sense, Monster Hunter Rise and all that. And then for the
I was
boomers,
gonna say they want Rise.
it's, of course they probably play, like, older Monster Hunter.
Yo, 1942.
And Final Fight.
That's super old. Holy, well, I mean, look at the age demographic, but I remember playing 1942. Wow.
Yeah.
But like I said, the Monster Hunter for the 10 to 20-year-olds, it's a very different Monster Hunter for the 50, 60-year-olds.
Yeah, 100%. They want like World, Freedom Unite. These guys want more Rise. I'm sticking with the older dudes. I do not want more Rise. Please, Capcom.
But then for us, I think it's, even though Monster Hunter isn't there, I think it's kind of the list that actually does fall more in line with us. Remember, we came from an age of where, well, you guys played Dino Crisis. I never got a chance to play Dino Crisis. But Onimusha in its prime, Breath of Fire coming out, pulling in people on that side. You have the fighting games. We grew up in a wonderful era with fighting games.
Yeah.
And then there's Okami that was unique in its own way. I remember Kong with another friend of ours who would talk about Resident Evil and how much they loved that growing up. So a lot of the games here is actually what we all experienced in our own way, for different reasons. And, the love for them is different than, say, the younger ones or the older ones. But
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, because when Monster
Resident
Hunter
Evil 2 was my first.
Monster Hunter came out, it was we didn't jump into Monster until like 2008, 2009, somewhere around there. And so we were in college at that time, and so it wasn't a game we grew up with, air quotes, but it was like, yeah, so I could see that.
But, yeah, it's pretty good list so far.
All right, let's move down to question 6. Is there a game that you would like to see completely remade with the latest technology, including character design and story direction?
That's what I was talking about.
So, not in here is number 1, which just means Dino Crisis.
You sure they're not talking about Lost Planet?
I'm positive, because I forgot about Lost Planet until you just said it.
I don't know where those Lost Planet fans would be hiding, but I don't think they're 87,000 strong.
But to what Gunnar was saying, yeah, Onimusha 1, 2, and 3, they want Onimusha, but they want Onimusha modernized, and not in a way that's like the game plays itself or any stupid shit like that. No, modern Capcom quality Onimusha.
Yeah.
And then Breath of Fire 1, 2, and 3.
Oh man, I'm scared about that Breath of Fire, dog. Because every time I hear modern RPG, it's
Final
fucking
Fantasy VII
let's
remake.
make everything like 7 remake. Nah, if it's not turn taking, leave it on the shelf, please.
Mega Man 1, 2, and 3.
Mega Man 1,
That'd be
2, and
interesting
3.
if they revamped it in more Mega Man 11 style. I'd buy that. Rival Schools, Ace Attorney 1, 2, and 3, Final Fight, Gargoyle's Quest 1 and 2. I've seen it being played. I never played it. Number 9, Niji Rochu no Kaiseki. Whatever the...
Oh my gosh, you butchered that like a motherfucker.
Whatever the hell that is.
Niji Rocho no Kaiseki.
Yeah, bless you.
Good. Look at that. Come
Bless
on, get your weeb up, man.
Bless you. You sneezed. And then Commando. Not even Bionic Commando. Just fucking Commando.
Just straight Commando. Get that arm out of here. I just want the guy in the gun.
Commando, though?
No, it's different.
Bionic, yeah. Isn't that what Bionic Commando, or that morphed into Bionic Commando?
No, I think Commando's just a different game.
Oh.
Bionic Commando is the arm guy. Yeah. Bionic Commando is nowhere on this list, so he is that 2009 game. Fucking killed him, but that's okay. Rest in peace. We don't, it's okay. Just like Mega Man Legends is on the moon, Bionic Commando's in the grave. That's okay. So not in here is number 1 for both regions. It's very interesting. The world wants Onimusha 1 and 2. Japan wants Rival Schools.
Okay, hold on.
Sure. Holding on.
I disagree with Japan on that. instead of just giving us a whole new rival schools, just add these motherfuckers to Marvel vs. Capcom, the next one, or Street Fighter.
Well, listen, we're getting
Like-
Terry Bogard and Mai from King of Fighters in a Street Fighter game. So I think Street Fighter is just gonna morph into a versus game, but in the Street Fighter universe. I think that's where we're headed.
And I'm okay with that. I completely disagree with Terry and Mai being in the game.
I wonder
understand
why.
why they did it. I just feel like, okay, one, I have a natural dislike for those
It
characters.
should have been Kyo, huh?
Period. No, I can't expect Kyo to be in it because people don't like actually good characters. So can't expect Kyo to be in it, but I can. Like, I'm actually surprised that they even did that with to begin. So I do expect that this is an introduction to maybe a test run of, do people want to see SNK versus Capcom again? Are we getting an SNK versus Capcom 3? So I'm looking forward to something like that, and the reason why they introduced Terry and Mai, or maybe they're taking, a page from Nintendo's current handbook with just bringing in new fighters from different franchises to pull the general public. Because I honestly, I can't see it. Like, I can definitely see KOF, what we are now, 15, 16?
15.
Like, if there's a KOF...
No, 16.
15. So, if
16.
16.
Oh my god.
I can definitely see KOF 17 coming out, and they're like, yeah, we
No, it's
paid
15,
for
right?
you and...
It's 15. It's 15. It's 15.
Whatever number. The next KOF. I can definitely see the next KOF, or even like how Final Fight is about to come out, right? I can definitely see them saying, hey, look, we paid for Ryu and Chun-Li, because chances are that's the two characters they will buy anyway. Hey, look, we paid for Ryu and Chun-Li, Street Fighter fans come over and play our Final Fight game. I definitely see that, because I just don't think KOF has the pull that Street Fighter has. Maybe I'm wrong. It's my personal opinion. I don't think KOF games have the pull that Street Fighter games have. But, like Terry and Mai, why not somebody from rival schools? Why not two characters from rival schools? You wouldn't have to pay for them unless there's some legal issues behind it. Why not include people from your other fighting games or your other action games? I don't know. I just felt like when you have like your own franchises that fits the same space as Street Fighter, as your other franchises, you should look into collaborations with those first before going outside. But I'm sure that there's a business practice move or a business strategy that they have that I'm just not seeing. But that's just my take on it, personally.
All right, moving on. I don't really have anything else to add to that, so yeah. What was your first Capcom game you played? Mega Man at number 1, that makes perfect sense. Street Fighter 2 at number 2, that makes perfect sense, and then RE3 at number 3, which makes perfect sense. Mega Man X at number 4, followed by Mega Man 2 specifically. Phoenix Wright at number 6, RE4 at number 7, Resident Evil 2 at number 8, Dino Crisis at number 9, and Street Fighter 2 Turbo at number 10. This is the World Japan breakdown. So most of Japan, it was Street Fighter. That's kind of what started everything.
I'm not surprised.
Phoenix Wright, Ghosts and Goblins, Mega Man, Mega Man 2, Mega Man X, RE, 1942, San, Street Fighter 2, Turbo, Hyper Fighting. The world is Mega Man, Resident Evil, Mega Man X. That first Mega Man X game on Super Nintendo was fucking crazy. It was such a... What the hell? This game is so good. Street Fighter 2, RE4, Mega Man 2, which is... I think most people will agree. For the original Mega Man games, Mega Man 2 is the best. Not my favorite, but it is... it's the best one. RE2, Dino Crisis, Phoenix Wright, Super Street Fighter Turbo. This is the male-female breakdown. The boys, they like their Mega Man, Street Fighter, Mega Man X. The girls like their Phoenix Wright, Street Fighter, and Okami. So, Street Fighter pretty consistent between both. Resident Evil consistent between both. Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil 2.
Evil 2. It just makes sense. Any game with Leon is just going to be good, apparently. Minus Resident Evil 6, of course. Devil May Cry 5, not making it for the boys, but 5 and 3 making it for the girls here.
Yeah, them HD fucking hot dudes.
Yeah, the chest, the chest muscles and the.
Oh boy!
I'm about a PS4 for that.
What a difference! Mind you, this is the first Capcom game I've ever played, and boy, does this make sense.
1940.
It is the first Capcom game I've ever played, and right behind that one was Mega Man. For me.
Yeah, I was late to the party. For me, it was RE2. That was my first.
Really?
One.
Wow.
Which is
yeah, I never played because back then it was whatever my father owned.
Okay.
Or whatever we got from Blockbuster. If anybody remembers, anybody in the audience remembers that one.
Wow, that's interesting. So for me, it was my first Capcom game. I don't remember which one. It's between Bionic Commando for the Nintendo or Mega Man 4 for the Nintendo. It was one of those two. That's what started my Capcom love, my love for Capcom, with those two games. Which sadly, Mega Man 4 is not up here. That's my favorite Mega Man. I hated Mega Man 3, but you know, that's fine. It could be up here. Interesting. And then 50s and 60s, man, their list is just so different. Vulgus. I don't even know what that is. Like,
I'm assuming it's a
Savage Bees, brother.
Not even Savage Beast. Savage Beast.
I don't, brother. You're. I can learn a lot from this list here. So, respect to the boomers. Which Capcom game has influenced you the most? Number 1. Yeah, Resident Evil 4. I'm so fucking cool. Number 2, Devil May Cry 3. I'm so fucking cool. Look at me. That's what I get from this here. And then RE, of course, because Resident Evil is.
God. You know, they're gonna remake 4 again, for just because.
Just because.
They're gonna go remake it again.
Is Resident Evil 4 on the PlayStation 5 and the
It is.
It is. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They ported it over.
So they're gonna make it for mobile.
I think it is on mobile. It's on VR.
You're kidding.
It's on VR, so.
It's on VR.
Yeah, it's on VR. Yeah.
The original and the remake is on VR, so.
Oh wow.
RE4. And then, yeah, again, the differences between the world and Japan is pretty consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Legend's getting a little love over there.
Yeah. We are.
Right there.
Japan.
Oh, shit. It's on the Japanese
6, yeah.
side.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Got more votes than Monster Hunter, which is surprising.
Yeah.
But this is what was the first game you played? This was like 1997 or 8, so that makes sense. Monster Hunter was 2004, so. And then this is the male-female breakdown. Very interesting. Devil May Cry 5 being high up as the first Capcom game I've ever played is interesting. So I guess this is just like a lot of newer female gamers entering the space, and this was the game that they played. And you know what? When I did work at GameStop, I sold this game often to a lot of female guests. Like, they would ask me for like a new game, and I would say, "Have you ever played Devil May Cry?" And they go, "No." And I would say, "Yeah, try it. You know, it's a $15, $20 game. I think you'll like it." And I've never gotten a negative like feedback. They would always come back and like, "Yeah, that was a great game." So, yeah, this is pretty consistent. Makes sense. Interesting. And then this is the generational breakdown here, which should surprise no one here. This all adds up. Right? Question number 9. Do you have a complaint would you like to share with Capcom? Number 1, reboot previous IPs. Do it now. Make old games, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number 2 is no complaints. Keep up the good work, which fair enough. And then show releases of new numbered titles. So more sequels. Not a good communicator. Too many sales. Not listed here, but many. Not only sequels, but new IP games as well. Becoming very mellow recently. Poor selection of goods. The design is something not very cool. I think this is a troll answer.
Oh,
I don't know.
You think? Well, yeah, I give Street Fighter 6 that answer. That's for sure.
I like Street Fighter 6. I think it's pretty good. Um, reboot previous IPs is consistent between both. No
Because
complaints.
that's what they should be
Consistent
doing.
between both. Like yeah, it's
yeah.
pretty much the same. At least in the top three.
It's the same list. Yeah.
Um,
That says a lot.
yeah, that does say a lot about what
Mm.
fans want, generally speaking.
Yeah, and in the same order too. It's not even
Like yeah,
like they're
that there's
swapped or
no
anything.
like so people are just generally happy and they just want more of what we've been getting. That's what this section says
Yeah.
basically. And then we welcome all of your support for Capcom. Yes, number one. It depends on how Capcom behaves.
Damn, all right. Jeez.
Listen, people.
So that tells you 96,000 people are not loyal. Get your shit
True.
together.
Yeah.
Get your shit together.
Yeah, like we're happy with what you're doing
Same
now,
on Japan too.
but it's just like, listen, we remember 2010 to like 2015. Don't do that again, please. So yeah, and then yeah, that's the end of it. So okay, so let's final thoughts. We're at pretty much the end of the recording here. What do you guys feel about the survey? What are your final thoughts on it, if any?
I mean, I guess I shouldn't have been, but I didn't know really Japan's take on it. I'm surprised. Well, I was genuinely surprised that Phoenix Wright is just very, very well received over in Japan. I knew it was popular, but I only got what we got in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
But not. And now I understand like the live action adaptations they have in Japan, the actual like plays that they have reenacting cases from Phoenix Wright. They have all of that in Japan, and it didn't make sense to me. But this survey definitely helped because Phoenix Wright is insanely popular in Japan. So if that means we get more Phoenix Wright games, I'm down because I like them. They're my game when I want to kind of read a book, but I want the book to be a little bit more interactive. I'll boot up a Phoenix Wright game. That's how I see Phoenix Wright games.
Okay.
So hey, if that means I get more, I'm down. I'm down for a new Phoenix Wright.
Wolf?
Yeah, I agree with Gunnar.
Okay.
I'm happy to see that Phoenix Wright has a lot of popularity because again, they're fun games if you are open-minded to changing the type of game that you're used to playing. Much like Gunnar said, it's very it's a lot of reading. It is, but there's also a lot of thinking, and it's not just you're reading a novel in itself, but it's also a novel that tests your critical thinking.
Yeah.
So Phoenix Wright games are phenomenal games. So I'm happy that they're getting the popularity. I'm happy to see Mega Man all over the list because I don't want Capcom to give up on that franchise. I would love to see Capcom continue to push out Mega Man, especially X and Zero games. The good ones, not Mega Man ZX and ZX2, but like actual authentically good Mega Man X games or Mega Man Zero game. As we all know that Mega Man Zero is a very popular character for the franchise.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I hope this opens their eyes, especially the last two questions. So I really hope it opens doors to the IPs that they feel they can, gamble with, push out there, see what players are willing to accept about them. I'm hoping for another Marvel vs. Capcom game. But if even if it's not Marvel vs. Capcom, I would love to see a Tatsunoko versus Capcom game or an anime versus Capcom game, anime studio versus like Shonen Jump versus Capcom. That would be awesome to me. But at the end of the day, it's really up to what Capcom does. And the list is not surprising to me. Young kids love cool dudes with big swords and action. People in our age group like, the games that we brought up with. We refuse to change. don't want to give up those titles. We stick with that our whole life. That's exactly what that list taught me. The older generations who really expressed that, hey, look, you youngins, this is originality. This is where all of that came from. That's what that list really taught me. It was an interesting review.
Yeah, I also expect a Breath of Wild port very soon. Breath of Wild, yeah, Breath of Fire. Sorry, confusing games. I'm confusing Wild Arms with Breath of Fire. I'll take a 3. I'll take a 4. I'll take a 2, 1. All of them.
Like you're at a fast food restaurant. I think I'll do number 1, number 2. Yeah, I'll do a little. The 3. Can we take out this mechanic and replace it with this mechanic? Can we do that? Can you do substitutions?
No, but
that would be cool if they did that, like a Breath of Fire pack. 1, 2, 3, 4,
I mean, 1 was on like the SNES and 2 was on the SNES, and I think 3 was on
PS1, right?
Yeah, PS1. 4 was on PS1, and you could leave out 5. That's okay. I'm talking about 5. But on the Breath of Fire, real quick, I'm actually surprised because maybe it's an influence because of Zeta, or maybe it's a Western thing. But I always assumed that Breath of Fire 4 was like peak Breath of Fire, and it was like the titular. When people say Breath of Fire, they mean 4. So to see that 3 is kind of higher up there. 3 was a great game. I played it on my own, but I was expecting to see 4. But yeah, I mean, at this point, the list shows it. Just port a Breath of Fire, Capcom. Just do it, and I'll drop money. A lot of people drop money, as we can see.
Yeah, I think you guys make good points. I think this list, if it's one thing that is consistent, it's the idea that we want. Again, question 9: reboot previous IPs. People want to see legacy titles in a modern setting, and not in a modern setting like, oh, make everything like a Ubisoft game. No, that's not what we're asking for.
No,
we want that Capcom quality. RE3 remake. If you ask me, that was a misstep. That was a step in the direction you don't want to go in. We don't want that. Even though that game wasn't terrible, but compared to RE2 remake and RE4 remake, huge quality drop, right? Huge quality drop. Definitely Dino Crisis is something that people really want back because people use this survey as an opportunity to make their voices heard. We want Dino Crisis, bro. This game is so good. We want it back, right? So hopefully Capcom takes that to heart. What this list does tell me is that retro prices do not necessarily necessitate that certain games need to be remade or republished. Like Haunting Ground wasn't present whatsoever. Not a fucking
that is
peep.
a game.
That was a Capcom game.
That is a game. Yeah, you're right. It's like the girl stuck in the clock tower thing, right?
Well, it's like Clock Tower.
Well, that's Clock Tower, yeah.
But it's the girl with the
Tower.
dog. So she has like a white dog that helps her.
Okay, I remember that game now. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's a fair mistake to make. So that's not a peep on that game, right? Not a peep on Bionic Commando. People don't want to hear about Bionic Commando, even though the 2D remakes that we got in 2009.
I remember those.
Those are really good and well received. So I think if you do something like Bionic Commando or Strider or something like that, you kind of go back to the roots just to test things out.
And even when Bionic Commando was released in Marvel vs. Capcom, his character overall was well received.
Oh, because he was a good character. Because he was strong. That's really why. So that's what Capcom should focus on. They need to focus on their legacy stuff. And if they're gonna do new IPs, tread lightly. Exoprimal was a new IP, and as far as I understand, it's not done super well. This is a slide service game. It's like this is not what people expect from you. So
yeah, as you could see, both Japan and world. I'm just gonna say U.S. because that's like the dominant market. Bias, sue me. On those surveys, multiplayer or playing with others I'm assuming like a live service multiplayer sense, not fighting game versus sense, was super low. That was like 8 and 9 on the list. Like, clearly your audience is telling you, I'm not really down for the live service bit. if you make a solid multiplayer game, a solid single player game, people understand that multiplayer games nowadays are online, right? If I'm going to play Street Fighter, chances are the way the world works now, it's not going to be a bunch of dudes huddled around the television like it was in the 90s. It's going to be guys in their respective homes, and we're going to play online. But I think the community has made that consensus, like they're cool with that. But as far as live services like Exoprimal and the garbage ones that they tried to push with Resident Evil 3, which in my opinion hurt the development of 3 remake.
I think it's Resistance, and then there's RE-verse, which was paired with RE8.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah, like the Dead by Daylight style.
Resistance
multiplayer game. Yeah, nobody you could see people don't want that. Just give a solid Resident Evil game. I think people would be more accepting of Mercenaries, because I loved the Mercenaries game back when it was on the 3DS. To be fair,
That's
that was
multiplayer one, right?
yeah. So, but like the live service mechanic, a lot of Capcom fans aren't really interested in that.
Yeah, because it's not legacy game design. It's like, what is this new kind of game? I don't like it. I have to be online all the time, and I gotta play with other people. I just want to play an RE game, right? And
yeah, and not to get too political, but what's number 2 on the list? I want to see some big badongas and some pretty faces and giant muscles for the ladies. I'm saying. I don't want to get into it too hard, but it's number 2 for a reason. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Number 1 for Japan.
Apparently, the people want dinosaurs
Number 1, but
too.
yeah. Put the Raptor, put it in HD. They'll be happy.
Yeah.
So so that was the survey. I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation. I had fun talking about it. For those watching, thank you for your viewership. I hope you had enjoyment watching us go through this list and rant about random Capcom games. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think. What are some games that you would like to see Capcom revisit? What are some games you want to see sequels of, etc.? The link will be in the description in case you want to look at the survey itself. We're late on this. I didn't learn about the survey until recently, which has been weeks after the survey was live. Otherwise, I would have participated in it. Not that my vote would have made any kind of difference, but I would have liked to voice my opinion through the survey. And I hope more companies do surveys like this. Like, Ubisoft really needs to do a survey so that they can get some real feedback and like readjust their business plan or their creative direction, because I'm not a fan. But anyway, subscribe. We do podcast episodes like this every week, so we launch a new episode on a new topic every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Like the video if you enjoyed it, dislike if you didn't. Comment down below. We'd like to hear from you. Check out the description for links to our social media. So we have a presence on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, obviously here on YouTube, as well as Discord. Mr. Esoteric, who is currently unavailable for recording, he streams on Twitch. He streams 2 to 3 times a week, and he plays a variety of games. So definitely check out his channel, give him a follow. With that being said, boys, we'll see you in the next one. See you next week.
Bye.